Are you serious? Are you serious? Breaking news coming out of the Middle East. It looks like the Middle East may be about to explode in a conflict. There is massive explosions tonight, right now, in the last 45 minutes happening in Damascus, Syria. I repeat, massive explosions taking place right now in Damascus, Syria. And you start thinking about the scriptures immediately. The destruction of Damascus, or the burden of on Damascus in Isaiah 17:1. But let me tell you what's taking place here quickly now, because it looks as if there's been a major military missile attack on the city of Damascus. We have a little bit of conflicting reports, but not completely. I want to say good evening to all of you, and thank you for jumping in here on this spare of the moment off as it's happening. This is live reporting right now. Airstrike targets Damascus military airport. Multiple, and I'm talking multiple, of explosions have been heard. Reported airstrike of targets in Damascus military airport with multiple explosions heard. Also, I've seen some videotape and some pictures. It is insane, the size and magnitude of these explosions. Several powerful explosions have rocked a military airport in Damascus, hitting the ammunition depot right there in Damascus, Syria. Media reports suggest it's the airport, it's a military air base that was targeted by Israeli airstrikes. The blast occurred at the Nazareth military airport just about 50 minutes ago, according to multiple reporters on the ground. Explosions can be heard. Footage from Damascus already being posted on social media. And according to unnamed officials and intelligence sources cited by multiple media outlets, the airbase was the target of an airstrike or missile attack, and Syrian air defenses did respond. Now, Israel has previously hit these targets in the past. That doesn't mean this is Israel this time, because remember, it is Russia that has got 300,000 troops moving right now in war games that may not be games, but may actually be war. Now, it wouldn't be Russia hitting Damascus military airport. That would not make sense, even though this military airport is probably Iranian controlled. Russia would not be hitting it. First of all, Russia's not going to bomb Syria. Number two, Russia's definitely not going to hit Iran. So that would lead you to believe that's a high probability, since Israel has bombed this airport before, that it could be the Israelis, the Israeli Defense Forces, or the IDF. But we cannot confirm that 100%, although there is no official confirmation. One military source cited by Syrian state media outlet Sana has denied there has even been an attack, instead saying the explosions were caused by a short circuit in the system. No, trust me. I'm looking at pictures, watched videotape. Believe me, it was no short circuit in somebody's electrical power panel. These are massive explosions, and the shots are ringing from out of the air. Whether they are missiles launched out of Israel or some other location, or from somewhere in the sea from the Mediterranean, or they are Israeli Defense Forces airstrikes directly in the city capital, blowing up, and I mean blowing up. It is an insane explosions, multiple explosions that are off the charts. Okay, it's not a short circuit. So that leads me to believe that it is Israel, and here's why. The Syrians would rather say they had some kind of short circuit in their electrical box and had some kind of a weird sparking, I guess. They would rather say that than to say that Israel has just devastated maybe their military airport. They don't want to say that. Now, there's another report coming out of Israeli Times, the Times of Israel, just moments ago. They're saying massive missile attack reported at Damascus military air base. And Syria is denying the reports that it was Israeli who struck the location after large explosions were seen in the Mazareth airfield targeted by Israel in the past. Matter of fact, these blasts caused by electrical fire at an ammunition depot, that's not getting it. Nobody's believing that. These explosions are so big, people. They're so huge. There's no way this was an electrical fire. Now, large explosions were reported in the Syrian military air base and in an attack widely attributed to Israeli warplanes. However, Syria is still denying the attack had even taken place, but these were sparks from a faulty electrical current box. Now, the reported strike occurred at the Mazareth Air Base near Damascus. A key regime faculty thought to have been targeted by Israel in the past. The Lebanese news outlets seen as closely linked to the Shiite Hezbollah terror group claims that the explosions were the result of Israeli missile strikes. They're saying 5 missiles were reported to have been targeted to hit the airbase. Eyewitnesses report large blast, and pictures shared on social media showed extremely large explosions, as well as what appeared to be an air defense missile striking in the sky. Now, however, Syria's official Sana news outlet reports that the blasts were the result of a fire at the ammunition depot caused by a short circuit in the breaker box. No way, folks. No way. I've seen the footage. The rockets come out of the sky, there's massive explosions, and it rocked the city of Damascus. Syrian officials earlier said the base was targeted by a missile strike. It claimed the missiles had been intercepted, though, by Syria's air defense systems. That was their first report. But when they seen that the Syrian defense air systems actually did not shoot down the Israeli missile strikes, then they said it wasn't a missile strike at all, but a short circuit in the electrical breakers. Now, the London-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said there were casualties. I repeat, there were and there are casualties and extensive damage at the site of the attack right now, which is still in a state of chaos and confusion, and it's being attributed to Israel. The reported strike came as senior U.S. officials from the State Department were in Israel discussing Syria with Israeli officials. So while the United States had officials, and we don't know who those officials are. I don't know if they're Jared Kushner. I don't know if they're Jason Greenblatt. I don't know if maybe they're Secretary of Defense James Mad Dog Mattis, or maybe the Secretary of State. I don't know. I mean, we still don't know who it is, Mike Pompeo or somebody. I don't know. But there are definitely U.S. officials in Israel. They were meeting with Israeli officials at the time of the attack. Now, back in January of 2017, Syria accused Israel of launching missiles that hit the Mazareth base and threatened repercussions. Israeli missiles also reportedly targeted that same base back in late 2016. And officials in Jerusalem have said they take action to stop the transfer of advanced weapons to terrorist groups and to keep Iran from gaining a foothold in the country of Syria. Dozens of strikes inside of Syria has been attributed to the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. Now, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier this week on Wednesday had vowed that Israel would continue taking action against Iran and its proxies in Syria and would not be affected by a defense cooperation agreement signed between Damascus and Tehran Iran. So it looks like, again, and how many times have we seen this? When Benjamin Netanyahu would actually tell you he's going to do something and then goes and does it. That's what we've basically heard on Wednesday when he said that. Thank you guys for showing up here tonight. There's over 1,200 of you with us live on YouTube, and it's spontaneous like this, but it is very serious. It is a very serious situation, and our prayers go out right now for the Middle East. I mean, really, we pray for peace in the Middle East, but I realize that we are in a serious situation with Russia moving 300,000 troops and a major war games, military drill taking place in the Mediterranean Sea, along with the Chinese and the armies of Mongolia, and also the fact that yesterday in the city of Donetsk, the pro-Russian rebel leader was assassinated while sitting in a cafe when somebody brought in a bomb and blew up the cafe, killing him and others. This happened yesterday, which that would not go over well with Vladimir Putin. Now, so because Putin is for the pro-Russian rebels that are trying to take over eastern Ukraine. You have to understand something. Don't forget, guys, Russia did take Crimea away from Ukraine. And Russia has sent in the little green men, plus they are the ones supporting the pro-Russian movement an uprising in Ukraine against the Ukrainian government. Now, I understand the Ukrainian government's got a lot of thugs and thieves, and I mean, I've talked to people who used to live there. They'll tell you there was corruption in the Ukrainian government, and of course, we know that the Russian government operates about the same way. A lot of what I call Russian Mafia political. We know this, okay? We know the Russians kind of do the thug mentality as well. So that's nothing new for that part of the world. So it is no doubt about it that this assassination of the Ukrainian pro-rebel leader will not set well with the Kremlin. No way. So whoever assassinated, and it could have been the Americans, I don't know, the CIA. I really don't know. It could have been, folks. Seriously, could have been the CIA that assassinated the pro-Russian rebel leader in eastern Ukraine. It could have been the CIA. I would put their name first. Now, when I look at what happened tonight, who bombed Damascus? Who bombed this airstrip? Who bombed this ammunition depot that probably had both Syrian and Iranian military in it? It was probably the IDF. It was probably Israel. They've done it before. And it's really strange that the assassination of the what's his name? Kharchenko. I can't remember exactly how you say his name. Alexander Kharchenko, I think is his name. He was assassinated yesterday. That was a poke in the eye of the bear, okay? Because he's the pro-Russian rebel leader of eastern Ukraine. So that was a poke in one eye. And if this was Israel blowing up Iranian ammunition depot on that airstrip, that air base right in the heart of Damascus, that's a poke in the other eye of Vladimir Putin, and also a poke in the eye for President Bashar al-Assad of Syria. So is the United States and the Israelis putting military shots at, are they drawing first blood right now in Europe and in the Middle East against Russian and Russian proxies? I don't know, but I suspect it. Okay, so we're going to wait and see what's going on. There's a lot out there. Look for Putin to retaliate. Look for Putin, not Assad. They can't. Okay, and look for Putin not only to retaliate because of the bombing tonight in Damascus, but the fact that his pro-Russian rebel in eastern Ukraine was assassinated yesterday. Look for Putin to retaliate. He won't say it. That isn't his style. He is not boisterous and blusterous. He just silently takes care of business. So look for some type of boot-scooting Putin retaliating before this is all said and done, okay? Anyway, I thank you guys for showing up here. I wanted to give you a quick update. We're living in the end times. Just check out Israel. Look at the enemies that surround her completely. She has to protect herself. There's no doubt about it. And the bear may have been poked in the eye twice. One in the assassination of Putin's pro-Russian rebel leader in the Ukraine. And the other one may be Putin's proxy Iran and Assad of Syria, both getting smashed in that air base and weapon ammunition depot in Damascus. And then in the Bible, remember the scriptures. Isaiah 17:1, for the burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall become a ruinous heap. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. We are running out of time. God bless all of you. Thank you all for being here. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. You will prosper if you do. And pray for peace for all people in the Middle East. Jesus is coming soon.